What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about how I passed the Security Plus 601 exam. Now, for those that want to take the exam, I will say it's not an easy task. And if anything, it just depends on the person. It depends on like if you are pretty studious. If you know that you're like a focused type of person, you can literally knock this test out in less than a month, maybe a month and a half to 2 months. For somebody like me who doesn't have the best focus, but when I put my mind to it, I'm pretty decent. But for somebody like me, like it literally took me 9 whole months to actually get this test, like to actually take the exam or feel like I was ready to. And then that's the thing as well, like you'll never fully be ready for this exam or like any other exams out there that you might want to take. This type of exam actually, like I studied so much, and I mean so much to the point where I was still learning everything as much best as I can, but I got to a point where I was starting to forget everything. Like I was literally starting to forget certain subjects that I've already felt like I've mastered. And when that time came around, when I noticed I was like, starting to forget certain things and certain concepts, I was like, oh no, like maybe that was my way of saying like I'm ready to go ahead and take this exam and get it out the way, because had I gone any longer, I was going to forget everything. Like I was going to start forgetting more and more the more I studied, because there's so much material, so many things to learn. And you only have like, for me, I only had about like 80 something questions. And keep in mind, I took this test literally last year back in April of 2022. So this is a year later. Yes, I'm a little late on the video, but I just felt like I needed to go ahead and get that out there, get this message out there. So it's not a hard exam unless you put your mind to it. It does take time though. It takes time depending on the person. For me, it took me literally 9 months. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I did to study for it. So, first off, my steps in successfully passing this test was this baby here. So, I had the CompTIA Security Plus Certification Exam objectives. You can literally look this up online and you'll find the objectives. Just look up on Google CompTIA Security Plus objectives. And this is basically a packet full of all of the terminology, all of the terms, all of the subjects that you need to know for like the test. And as you can see, like with this, I didn't write out all of the terminology and things. Some of these I just felt like, it wasn't necessary. A lot of this, at least within the first few chapters, I was like, okay, well, these type of things are simple. It shouldn't be anything that I need to like write over and over again. That way I can like burn it in my head, because I'm that type of student. Like I like to write things over and over again until I get it. And that's just how I've always been ever since grade school. So like here you got threats and attacks and vulnerabilities. This section it's not that hard. It's pretty easy to get a grip on once you start reading it. And that's another thing as well. I also have the Pearson 601 exam booklet that I'll show you guys in just a second. But yeah, like here are all the sections. Let me show you a section where I can show you, for example, where I just started going crazy with like writing down terms and things. And then I'd even make notes on what I did. So like I'd write good. And as you can tell, like on most of these pages, a lot of them don't say good. I was literally just good with this one section. I was like, okay, I'm good with this section, but everything else was kind of like spotty as far as like my knowledge on it. So I just felt like as long as I had a concept in those different sections, I was going to be okay. But yeah, outright good at the top. Here are a few things, notes that I wrote in there that I felt like I needed, you know. Yeah, even there, like I started writing, going crazy with the terminology, trying to memorize things. And yeah, so this packet has, I want to say, it has all of the sections and then some. Not only does it have the sections that you need to study, it also has the terms. Like literally the acronyms, the acronym list, all of that. And for me, I did not memorize every single term. That is impossible. Like this, it's possible, but I didn't. I learned as much as I could, is what I'll say. You got more terms, and it's a laundry list of terms too. And yeah. So yes, this was very key to my success in passing the exam. I studied this day in, day out, went through it, made sure I would write the terms over and over again to the point where I was familiar with it. So I want to say I started studying for this test like back in 2021. Around that time, I decided to pick up this Exam Cram CompTIA Security Plus 601 booklet. I picked it up. Somebody had recommended it to me, while I was curious about the test itself and trying to figure out like what I can do to pass it. And with this book, I literally only read maybe like 15 chapters in, and that's like about that much of the book. Just fell out. That's about that much of the book that I read, that right there. And I literally burnt myself out. I burnt myself out so bad that I was like, I can't read any further. I literally stopped reading. It was very well so worth reading that many chapters. It was worth it. It really was. But I don't recommend just like in a full sitting, even within a few weeks. Depending on the type of person you are. For me, like I burnt myself out so bad that I couldn't even pick that book back up. So at that point, I was like, well, what can I do now that I haven't fully read this entire book and don't know it inside and out? What should I do? I resorted back to my old school ways, which was quizzing myself. So I would just get people that I recommend is, so you can use Jason Dion, Professor Messer, Use Certify. All of these different people have their own lectures and study guides and tests to study from. So all I would do, for me, my key to success in passing this test was literally doing practice questions over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where I would like go through all these questions, like go through them like it's nothing. Even if I got to a point where I was memorizing questions, I still just did it. I did everything that I needed to do, just go over questions multiple times, like almost every single day. I would do at least 20 questions a day. I'd only do 20 questions a day once I got to a point where I was getting more and more comfortable with the questions. But on average, I would do maybe like 50 questions a day in the beginning. And then like once I got more and more familiar, I bump it down to like 20 questions a day. and I just quiz myself. And of course that's like after I go over some reading, a little bit of some online lecturing, or like listening to Professor Messer. That's the guy right there. Like I literally, if I'm driving in the car, I'll just throw him on YouTube and just listen to him talk about IT, you know, like it's music to my ears. Like I had to get to a point where I was like, all right, this man's gonna be implanted in my brain. I need to hear what he has to say, even while I'm doing my thing driving, or if I just come back home and hop on the couch, I'm just gonna listen to what Professor Mr. got to say about security plus. But yeah, man, like the test isn't, I'm not gonna say it's not hard. It's definitely difficult. It's hard, but it's possible. It's doable. You definitely can do it. I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it. So you passed the exam. You passed the Security Plus. You got your certificate and everything, you know, but you have to have in the back of your mind, like, oh, that certification can expire at any point. It can expire after 3 years. What can I do to re-up that? What can I do to re-up that without having to worry about studying for the test again and taking it again? Or say, like, if you get to a point where you burn yourself out and you don't want to take tests for another few years or so, what do? The cool thing about the CompTIA certs is that you can go online and get CEUs, or you can take lectures online, gain them that way, take classes on Security Plus at your local university or whatever. You'll get like maybe 10 CEUs from them. You can get possibly like 25 to 50 CEUs, depending on what the lecturing system is. For me, I use InfoSec, and I would just go to like different lectures that I can do to like boost my CEUs and enter them in that way. There are also other ways, like other websites you can use, like Cybrary, InfoSec, all kinds of things. You can teach at a college a course on Security Plus if you want to get your CEUs that way. I've heard that that's also a thing. But for me, it's more so like, you know, I'm just took a few classes, got some CEUs from that, and done a few lectures from the InfoSec website, where they'll have like different cyber type lectures and online tutorials and videos and things of that nature. So there are ways to get them. But yeah, that is how I passed the Security Plus. I will leave a link to some descriptions down below. I'll definitely catch you guys in the next video. This is Tim James, and I'm signing out. Peace.